Hi, this is Adam Wakeman from Snake Charmer and Ozzy Osbourne's band. You're listening to Focus on Metal. Focus on Metal!
Hey, Metalheads, Scott here.
And Richie.
Welcoming you to yet another episode of Focus on Metal. Do you know, coming up in September, we'll have been doing this for 15 years.
Feels like 50. Well, no, hang on. I haven't been doing it for 15 years. You haven't been doing it for 15 13, years, I think.
But yeah. We started this in September of 2010.
What was there, 5 of you?
No, it was the 4.
4 of you.
Yeah, it was Dario, Mandy, Jay, and me. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I kept you going.
Holy crap, 15 years.
Yeah. Wow.
Who'd have thunk?
Then back when we had dark hair.
Yeah.
Well, and everything else.
My kids were already starting to be gray. But yeah. Anyways, yeah, just I happened to notice the other day on X, a thing popped up about being on there for 15 years because we started the promo for this stuff like about 2 months before we actually put the first show out. So little teaser things and stuff like that. So it was like, oh yeah. And so I looked back at the episodes. I was like, oh yeah, episode 1, September 7th, 2010.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Sometimes Google and all these things are great for reminding you about stuff. And then sometimes you just don't want to be reminded and it does it anyway.
Yeah. Anyways. Yeah. Just I throw that out there.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, probably the judging by everything on social media lately, the big topic, of course, is the death of Father Ozzy, and I know that everybody else, probably every other podcast in the universe, has already put out their Ozzy tribute episode. But here we are. Just I don't know if you want to call it even that. We're just kind of like thought we'd mention about Ozzy.
Fuck off.
Well, definitely. The day we're recording this, he's been buried in his home in England.
Yeah.
One thing I did notice, we'll go back to when it was announced he was dead, or the news was out there that he was dead.
Yeah.
So how did you find out?
Well, it was blowing up on social media, and then everybody at work was coming up to me, hey, do you hear about Ozzy? Like, it's like I'm like the guy that everyone has to have their metal news has to go through. And so it was that. I've had, like, my kids, like, hitting me up on texts and all of that. So, yeah, it was pretty much just everybody between social media and people coming over to me.
Well, with this one... Okay, so the big deaths for me in the last, say, 5 years, maybe more maybe, depending on how long ago one of them is dead. The same guy called me to tell me that Eddie Van Halen had died and Neil Peart had died, and I was driving a car. So I wasn't in front of a computer I drive to work on my own, so there's nobody in the car with me looking at shit.
Yeah.
With this one, I was in work and I just decided to check one of a news website, not a music website.
Yeah.
And it was one back in Ireland.
Yeah.
It was the RTE website, it was the TV station. And it had on it that Ozzy Osbourne had died.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy fuck.
Uh-huh.
And of course, I checked a couple of different ones.
Yeah.
And I figured that if any news site like that is putting it out there, it's not bullshit.
Yeah. It's funny because... like it is so overwhelmed, like everything with trending and all the algorithms and stuff, that I was looking on my normal feed thing this morning and I get this headline about Ozzy planning to make a comeback album. This was on the news feed as current news this morning because this thing has trended so much that probably the AI stuff in the background pop this up. Like, I'm pretty sure if he is, it's going to be a spectacular Prince of Darkness comeback album But yeah, this is literally. I had to take a picture because I'm like, Richie's not going to freaking believe I saw this morning.
Oh my
That's
God!
This morning, yeah,
yeah. So I put it up on the Facebook page, R.I.P. Ozzy, and of course, a couple of people commented that it was a hoax.
Huh.
They didn't believe it, and I get it.
Yeah.
In this day and age, there's so much disinformation out there. Like, I'll just look at my Facebook feed, right? And of course, you were talking about algorithms, right? So there's all these AI pictures out there of the funeral and fucking Robert Plant and Jimmy Page are crying at it with Elton John and fucking, there was some picture out there, and two of the people in the picture, I can't even remember who they are, big famous musicians. They're both dead, and of course they were at the funeral.
Good on them.
And of course it's all bullshit, right?
Yeah.
And but
and of course the big trending thing now is because it goes back to that whole. I don't know if you had any of this or you heard any of this, but there was the whole thing about all the similarities between like JFK and Abraham Lincoln and the assassinations and all. And so now the thing is the fact that Lemmy died 17 days after his final show, and Ozzy died 17 days after his final show.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And?
So it's like, it's a big like...
Oh my God, really? Yeah, they both decided to wait 17. Ozzy decided, I'll go 17 days and then I'll croak because, I have to do the same thing as Lemmy. Oh my God, really, people?
Hey, Lemmy's a trendsetter.
I think people have,
Those aren't shorts. These are shorts.
I think people have too much time to sit at home and do absolutely nothing and come up with bullshit like this. It just blows my mind. I find that the main problem now, one of the main problems I find now with social media is there's no editing.
No.
It used to be all funneled in magazines and all that.
Yeah.
And sometimes did magazines embellish stuff or do stuff for fun and all that? Yeah, they did. But there was an editor there that kind of went, you can't really publish that. Now it's just like, put it all out there.
I mean, it comes down to even like the shit we do, right? I mean, before for a while we were writing a lot of album reviews and book reviews and things like that, and you'd always have an editor to be like, no, wait a minute, that's good, no, that's shit. Or people that are just like recording at home and putting releases out that people don't have producers anymore to go, what are you freaking doing?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's just pretty much open season everywhere.
So they're all coming to you and asking you about it. We shocked?
No.
Me neither.
No. It was... It
was coming.
Yeah, and you could see that I think they did a very respectful job of not dwelling on that. And even though you could see that, he looked pretty frail, pictures for that final show. But again, I thought it was good that they didn't like really like go like, oh my God, it's going to be any second now or whatever. It was more like kind of the excitement of the event and the money they raised. And I was like, wow, this is like actually a good positive thing for once, the way people were talking about it. So I thought, oh, that was pretty cool. But, yeah, I wasn't surprised.
I think the show, for the most part, it went the way we expected it to go when we talked about it. That, musicians were going to come out, play an odd Ozzy song or a Black Sabbath song, maybe play one of their own songs. And that happened, and then Black Sabbath came on, did a couple of tracks at the end. I think the money thing is kind of been downplayed. I think people should talk about that a lot more because apparently they raised a lot of money.
They raised a shitload of money.
Which is amazing.
And so some of the like music sites and stuff, and the UK press tended to talk about that.
Yeah.
But you weren't getting it anywhere else.
Yeah.
It became entertainment news, and that was about it.
And I think it was out there because this people, it's the nature of people these days that they just have to be negative about everything. For the most part, what I read was positive about the show.
Yep.
That it seemed to go pretty well. Sure, was there people that we wished were there that weren't there? Yes.
Yeah.
There was no Bob Daisley. I could have said Joe Holmes played with Ozzy for 7 years. He could have gone up and played a song. There were certain musicians he had in his band over the years that weren't on stage.
Even like I felt bad. I mean, he had a reason he had to do it,
there.
But like Wolfie had to pull out because it conflicted with the tour date.
Yeah.
And he had looked like he already felt bad because Ozzy and his dad had a relationship, and first big Van Halen tour out with Black Sabbath and all that, and he had to pull out, and then now Ozzy's passed, and so I think he probably is feeling even worse now, and so yeah. And the other thing I'll mention too, it was of all the posts that I saw, the one that hit me the most was actually Tom Hamilton put a post out, and it was basically to say that he felt so bad that Ozzy wasn't able to actually have a retirement and just chill and enjoy like the remainder of his life.
Well, I was going to bring this up, but you mentioned it. You've heard this story before. Person works X amount of hours, works hard all their life, doesn't want to retire. Mm-hmm. The minute they retire, within 2 or 3 months, they're dead.
Oh, there was a guy,
happens all the time.
Malcolm, that I work with back in DuPont. This guy looked like he was already dead. Okay, I'm no joke. He looked like he was.
What? He was an extra in Beetlejuice.
He was. He could have been. He could have been complete with old ragged trench coat. I shit you not. And he was an engineer, and he was given this assignment that was going to be a relatively simple assignment, and he did the most bizarre ass thing for this assignment. When that's when they decided, I think it's time for Malcolm to retire. So he retired that Friday. He was getting on a plane to go to some tropical place on Saturday morning. On the tarmac at Logan, he dropped dead.
How old?
He was like in his 70s. Yeah.
Wow.
Day one of retirement, he dropped dead on the tarmac at Logan.
Wow. I think what surprised some people about Ozzy, it's not that it happened. It's how soon it happened after the show.
And this is going to sound all kind of soppy from me, just freaking unusual. But I almost feel like he kind of like willed himself to make the show.
I think Tony Iommi said that.
And you know what I go on that is, my grandfather was absolutely riddled with cancer. And they were calling him the Miracle Man for how long he was lasting. He lasted until about midnight of their 50th wedding anniversary, and then passed. And I've always felt like he basically like willed himself to live so that she could have that 50th wedding anniversary and then let himself go.
Mm-hmm.
And I almost feel like Ozzy just kind of was like, I'm going to do this, and in just determination and just being a sheer stubborn brummie, and made it happen.
I have a similar story to that. So years ago, when I'm living in Dublin with she was my fiance, now my wife, for over 20 years. So we were going to Rome on vacation, and her grandmother was very sick, and her mother called me, and she made sure she called me when she wasn't in the house, and said, look, there's a chance she's going to die. I want you to go on vacation in Rome. Don't tell her.
Yeah.
If it happens, it happens. There's nothing she can do. So we went to Rome. I think I got blind drunk probably every night. There was 1 or 2 nights I got absolutely blotto because I have this secret. I'm trying to keep it in and not tell her.
Yeah.
And we're having a good time. And we get back into Dublin. She calls her mother. 10 minutes later, we're calling the airline. We're on the first class plane to go back to Boston, Logan, the next day. We get to the house. She runs out of the car. She runs into her grandmother. An hour later, the grandmother dies. And everybody said that she was her favourite, my wife, that she waited to see her to die. So the stories are out there. And I do believe that a lot, the same thing with Ozzy. Ozzy had this relationship with his fans. It was like symbiotic. He was all, the fans were everything to him. He's been saying it for years.
Yeah, he has.
And he's genuine.
It's even been, and what I did, since I've kind of just been sitting here, is I wanted to get kind of a refresher perspective on Ozzy, just cause. And I did the most odd way of doing it, is I went back and I read Mick Wall's book, Paranoid, again.
Okay.
Because that one, he's brutally honest in that book, you know what I mean? And he doesn't always cast everybody in the positive light. And there's several encounters with Ozzy, remembering that when he was Sab's PR, Dio was in the band. But he had interactions with Ozzy just as a PR. And the ones where Ozzy was really like drugs and drink and just kind of out of it was when he was kind of more of the nasty and kind of acted like he was above it all, usually with a retinue around him, kind of egging him on kind of thing. And so he's trying to, you could see that it was more like he was trying to like clown for his buddies. But then you have the opposite where he's like coming off of all of that stuff. And yeah, it's like all about bringing a fan in and just playing him the album for hours and answering all his questions and just being like really happy that this person is there and being down to earth and all that. And you seem to have more stories of that kind of down to earth guy.
Well, we've interviewed enough musicians now that have either played with him or toured with him.
Yeah. Or photographed
them. Yeah. And the one thing I think in common they all said was he's genuine. What you see, that's what he is.
Yeah.
He's not one of these guys that the camera comes on and he's a different person to when the camera is off.
Right. And that's even what Mick says in that book too, is that's part of why he got along so well with Ozzy, is because Ozzy was always real. There was no other agenda.
No.
It was whatever it is. If he was having a shitty day, you were going to know it. If he was having a great day, you were going to know it. If he doesn't like you, you were going to know it. Just always was real. No matter what, always was real. So, yeah.
Yeah. But I'm thinking about this a lot. This death really affected me. The Neil Peart one and Eddie's did. But for some reason, this one really hit home. And I don't know why. Maybe it's because I'm older or not wise, but anyway. But I in my lifetime I can't think of a bigger metal star, and I mean rock star, that has died, who's been bigger than Ozzy. I can't think of anybody. Eddie was a household name, but a lot of people, when they think of Van Halen, they might say it's Dave Lee Roth, right? When it comes to Neil Peart, fantastic drummer, household name to the masses, maybe not so much. But with Ozzy to me transcended metal.
Well, yeah, that's the other part. You got to remember that with Oz, you have the other dynamic, which is you have the whole other thing where there's people out there that are upset about his death, right? That probably do not even have a single Black Sabbath record. They're going simply by the guy they saw on the reality show for years. That's where there's a huge swath of people that know about Ozzy, more so than just music fans, metal fans. So there's a much bigger thing there, and I think if if never in a million years have done it, but if Neil Peart had a reality show, it'd probably be incredibly boring too. But we're just gonna watch the guy read and write stuff, or pedal his bike. But I think that expands the scope of what people know about.
But you talk about Ozzy as a musician, and was he a great musician? Maybe not. But what he always had around him was fantastic musicians that played with him, wrote the stuff, wrote the lyrics. To me, he wasn't a great singer.
No.
But what he had identity.
But the other thing is, if you talk to anybody who worked with Ozzy, they will also tell you that, probably to a man, that he was actually very adept at coming up with melody lines.
Yeah.
That people wouldn't have thought of. Now, maybe some of it was because of, he wasn't this professionally trained guy, and so he kind of just winged it and it worked. But everybody says the same thing, that he could just come up with the melody and sing it a way that nobody else would have.
So when did you come in with Ozzy? Sabbath?
Back with Sabbath.
What album?
So that would have been with the Paranoid album.
Okay.
So songs off of that, and then the actual first Sabbath album I had, still have it over there, Volume 4.
Okay, that you bought?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What was the first new Sabbath album with Ozzy that you bought? Or was it?
That was new.
Okay, Volume 4. You're aging yourself here now, but anyway.
Well, I'm an old fuck.
Yeah, so I came in with Ultimate Sin, which is one of my favorites. I think that album gets, a lot of people love that record. But I came in on that, so
I got that on vinyl over there too.
Yeah, they're hard to get now. They're expensive.
Yes, they are. But I have one.
Yeah, me too. But then I'm playing the catch-up game. So with my first Sabbath was Ronnie.
Yeah.
Right. And then I went back to Ozzy.
And there's a lot of people that is the case, that they came in with like Heaven and Hell. First time seeing Sabbath, like Black and Boot Floor or something. But yeah. And then there's people that think that, oh, wait a minute. I mean, there's a guy that's before that. So, yeah.
It's pretty rare for me that, see, my sweet spot is probably anything from 86 to 91. So, because that's when I started really getting into the genre and discovering bands and then buying their new material that was coming out 88, 89, 90. So I've always had like that one of those would be my favorites.
Yeah.
Because I'm like a sponge at that stage. I'm 16, 17, 18 years of age. There's very few artists that have released material in those 5 years that I can say my favorite comes from before any of those records, but Ozzy is one of them.
Yeah.
Diary of a Madman is my favorite Ozzy album. And that was released before I even got into metal.
Yeah.
But I think that album is amazing. I think for a lot of his stuff is way overplayed. When I was reading all about when he passed away, of course, what comes out then is the essential Ozzy songs. And of course, they are War Pigs, they are Iron Man, they are Paranoid, Crazy Train, Mama I'm Coming Home. Like, really? Really? That's all you got?
Because they let AI just generate the list.
So they go onto Spotify, which ones have the most plays.
Yeah.
And of course, you hear Crazy Train. You can't go to a sporting event over here without hearing Iron Man or Crazy Train. And of course, I guarantee you there's probably people out there only know the first 15 seconds of Crazy Train because it's in between plays. But what I did was I decided not to go down that route and play Blizzard of Oz or, the popular Paranoid.
Yeah.
I actually reached for Down to Earth, which is his 2001 record, right?
Yeah.
And I've been playing the shit out of that in the car, and there's some fucking great stuff on that.
Yeah.
But, each to their own. But I don't know. This one's a tough one. It's hard. I'm not the sort of person who'll sit down and watch the procession they had through Birmingham.
Yeah.
I watched a little bit of it online, but I wasn't going to sit there and watch the whole thing. But of course, the one bit that they all put out there was when they got out of the car, when it came to the the bench, and all the flowers and all that. Fucking hell, my heart went out to him. Like, Sharon and the family were understandably devastated.
Yeah.
You don't want to see stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm sure too that there's probably, Sharon's an organizer, right? She's like a make shit happen kind of person, right? And so I'm sure that she's had that whole thing of just trying to make sure that everybody else is good and trying to get this thing arranged, and probably she's just been like, and then it comes to that point where it's almost like time stops, and that's when it's like, oh shit, and that's probably when it hit her.
Yeah,
was at that point,
Yeah,
because up till then, you're busy, you're doing stuff, you don't really process it, just like comes later.
I know certain people can't stand her to the point of actually hating her, but Ozzy wouldn't have lived to the age he did if she wasn't in his life.
True.
No way.
But at the same time, and they don't say much about it, but she was also pretty much off the rails too. At times,
yeah.
So they kind of like saved each other, which I think is what kind of forged that partnership pretty deep.
Yeah, because they've had some incidents over the years where one of them he tried to strangle her, and I remember Kerrang! Mick Wall was the first guy to interview Ozzy after that happened, and he said he couldn't remember anything.
Yeah.
He just decided, right, you're dead.
Yeah.
He
came back from
we've decided you're
Moscow
dead.
Music and Arts Festival with like jet fuel vodka and
and then there's I haven't read her book. I believe it's very good, but I've read Ozzy's book, and I've read enough books on Ozzy where it's a testament to the two of them that they stayed married for that long, because he was fucking nuts at times, and she stuck with him. Mm-hmm. There was the thing a few years ago where he cheated on her with a hairdresser or something like that, and because you have to imagine with someone like Ozzy that there's people throwing stuff at him all the time.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
And they'll just say yes to anything he wants.
Yeah,
and he didn't have the willpower or whatever to say no. And I think some of it as well is he was always there's always an expectation. Once you start pointing the head off a bat or a dove, you're always expected to be a little bit crazy. And people play up to that and say, we want you to do this. Mm-hmm. Our lives are mundane, so we need someone like you to do stuff that we wish we could do, but we'd never fucking do ourselves. Yeah. So go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
Focus.
But when it comes to his musical body of work, it is astonishing what he did. Now, I know he had people with him, but people are saying he's part of the band that invented metal, and I don't think you can argue with that. But the career he had, after that, the solo career, and he had Sharon, of course, who guided him through a lot of it.
Yeah.
He was the one, Randy Rhoads, then Jakey Lee, who was an up-and-coming guitar player, Zakk Wylde, up-and-coming guitar player. Like, he exposed all three of those to a much bigger audience than they already had.
Yeah.
And he's always had these amazing, amazing guitar players.
Yeah. And also good, with Bob Daisley, he got a great lyric writer and a great bass player.
Randy Castillo, he had Mike Borden.
And so he's always had a good eye for like how to select some players and see who works and who doesn't, and the amount of loyalty to him for players. I mean, look at that you had on the Scream record, instead you had Gus instead of Zach. But still, Zach was, to the end of the day, Zach's still absolutely loyal to Ozzy.
Yeah.
No matter what.
It was always Ozzy's called, I'm off.
Yeah.
I'm working with him.
That speaks a lot right there. You know what I mean?
There was a lot of people over the years have said that, some of the musicians in the band were treated like shit. And I get it. I get where they're coming from. Were there decisions made there that I didn't agree with? One of them, actually, when we talked about the PR disasters, and I said this when we did it, I'm going to remember one on the way home now, and I'm going to go, fuck, I never brought that up. There was the replacing Bob and Lee's parts on the CDs, right? That was a disaster, right? Yeah. But, people might say Sharon treated Bob like shit. But first of all, they signed the contracts.
Yeah.
Secondly, the thing with Bob is, he kept coming back. He did. Yeah. He did Blizzard of Oz, and then he worked on Bark at the Moon. Then he worked on No Rest for the Wicked. Played bass on that. Then he came back, and he did. He wrote some stuff later on. So, is there a point where you can say, Sharon treated him bad, and you can go, but he kept coming back. But then you brought it up. You got all the loyalty, like you got Zach, you got Robert Trujillo, you got Mike Borden, you got all these guys. The genuine love, for the guy,
and I think you're going to see that just like at any time, right? There's time points where, there's probably stuff that happened that was shitty, like replacing their parts. And I'm sure there was some reason behind that at that point in time, either because, maybe Sharon was pissed off and decided, no, fuck him, I'm going to do it, whatever. There's probably some reason. But in the end, for a lot of that, too, it was like Lee Kerslake, right? Shortly before he died, they actually gave him his album.
Yeah, they gave him to him. Yeah,
and so I think that shows kind of another thing that comes out of that. And I was almost thinking about that even with the final show, where you had everybody, and it was most people, and it was like a giant ass mending of fences. Like you can okay, I've made peace with everybody I possibly can right now. Like I'm in a great spot.
Now, one of the things I didn't know, because I don't live on fucking Twitter and all these other social media sites, so I put it up there on the Facebook page. Did Jake get to meet Ozzy? Because with a huge event like this, you're not guaranteed you're going to meet everybody. Correct. Because with Ozzy coming on later in the day,
correct,
he might be somewhere else until half an hour before he comes on. There were so many
people like Zach.
Yeah.
Zach feels terrible now, but I mean, there was so many people he couldn't actually get to go back to see Oz at the end of the show. Yeah.
And then people pointed out to me that he did get to meet him. And there was a picture, I think, with some of the musicians. Yeah. And he's in it with Ozzy.
Yeah.
I don't know whether you noticed, but Jake posted the text he got from Ozzy. Did you see that?
No.
Okay, so the gist of the text was, it was great to see you. I'm sorry I didn't get to spend more time with you. It was just a crazy day. Mm-hmm. Where are you living now? When I get back to Los Angeles, I want to meet up with you and we can spend more time together. It's been so long, and I hope you had it was fucking. I hope you had a great day.
Yeah.
And you had a good time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fucking hell, and of course, Jake put it up there and it was like he died. So it never happened. But you think of like Ozzy doing stuff like that. I think a lot of people for years, I think they probably think there's more bad blood there than there actually is. And then you need to try and figure out who's making the decisions.
Yeah.
It mightn't be him.
Yeah.
That he might still remain friends with the musicians that have played in the band in the past.
Yeah.
And he's just not allowed, I'm not saying not allowed contact him, but shit happens.
Yeah.
And you're talking about mending fences. I agree 100%. This was it.
Yeah.
It was the end, and that was it.
Right.
And we talked about this a few weeks ago. I thought it was amazing that Jake was there.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that was weird, I thought, was Nuno played the solo on The Ultimate Sin. Did you see that?
Yeah.
I think it's something to do with Jake's hands or something. He's got what was it? Someone told me is it carpal tunnel or something like that in one of his hands.
Yeah, that can be a bitch.
Yeah,
I know it can be a bitch to try to play, especially when you're hurting with that. Yeah,
but yeah. So you listen to a lot of Ozzy now, or no?
No,
not really.
Not really.
Same as usual.
Just as usual. Yeah. I mean, it's been. What I have noticed is, and somebody noted it yesterday, today as well. Like the amount that people are like trying to charge now for
his autograph.
No, just albums.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah, ridiculous. There was someone had one, and it was. I've got a couple of the albums, and they were posting prices of like $1,300
for what?
Just like a limited album.
What, from the 80s or 70s or
no,
what?
Like 80s, 90s, like.
There's always those people out there making a quick buck from someone's tragic death. Go on, you're going walking here.
You'll get a kick out of this.
You probably won't be able to find it now.
No.
We should be on YouTube. Anyway, everyone else is. Iron Maiden.
Right. Okay. Now, look on the spine.
Where? I've no glasses now. I can't see. What's it say?
So the spine says Ozzy Osbourne. Iron Madman.
Nice. And is the right record in it?
Yes, the right record is in it. But yeah, cover's fine, back cover's fine, record's fine, spine says Ozzy Osbourne.
You need to
Iron Madman.
When it comes to this kind of stuff, you need to be very, very careful. Yeah, I can imagine now that
there's I've got other albums that are misprints, and they'll be listed in the database. They've got there's the misprint, and then there's the oh shit, we figured out we fucked up, and then there's the press with the correct stuff. There's lots of albums that get misprinted.
So what's your
But yeah, I saw that.
What's your most collectible Ozzy album? Or do you have like a 12-inch or a Sabbath thing that's collectible?
I don't know. It's a good question.
With me, it wouldn't be the Sabbath stuff because that went back. I think a lot of the vinyl has been re-released now and reissued. I've got No Rest for the Wicked on vinyl. I think it's not rare, but I think you have to pay a few dollars for it. And I got The Ultimate Sin. And I have two versions of Bark at the Moon. One is the UK version with different track listing.
Yeah, I've got like some.
The tribute album is pretty. I've got a Mr. Crowley 12-inch that has there's a non-album track on the B-side of the Blizzard Sessions. It's a live song. I can't think of the name of it.
So yeah, I mean, I got a chunk of Ozzy stuff. They got some bootleg live stuff and yeah.
But now people are just going to try and make money.
Oh yeah,
out of someone's death. It happens.
Yeah,
it happens all the time.
I briefly felt bad for. Was it earlier this year or late last year? They had put out that Ozzy box set.
Oh, all the albums. It was like $1,000 or something.
And it was the one that it was
signed.
It was signed and numbered by Oz.
Yeah. And
they then canceled a shitload of the orders. So a lot of people never got they got their refunds, but they never got that set at all.
Was there different tiers of box set?
Then they put out another one that was just kind of a very plain, like the albums, that's it.
Wait,
but everybody wanted the
okay,
original one.
what was on the original one that was taken off?
They were all like better quality pressings of all the albums.
Okay.
Plus, you had like the book, the posters,
all his solo
Ozzy's
career,
signature, like so his whole catalog.
His all solo stuff.
Yeah,
just albums, not singles or anything like
Correct.
that. Okay, so that's a lot of albums. That's including Patient Number 9, everything.
Yeah.
All, okay.
Yeah.
That's a fucking lot of albums. That's a heavy box set.
Yeah. That's something I have over there. I've got a alternate cover of Patient Number 9. I think there's 250 of them.
Okay. In 6 colors.
No, not in 6 colors.
Yeah. So the night we're recording this, it's out there. Sharon said that there was a band that was taken off the bill, and that she was going to say who it was, a big band. I'd love to know who it is.
Megadeth.
Well, that funnily enough, which band of the big four wasn't there? Ellefson said, or not Ellefson, fucking hell. One of the Megadeth guys said they weren't. I think they weren't asked, but it wasn't Mustaine that said it. So Anthrax played at it, Metallica played at it, Slayer played at it, Megadeth didn't. I'm trying to think. Metallica wouldn't have played the Ozfest. Slayer would have. Slayer played multiple Ozfests. Oh, that's an interesting story now. We think of that. Let's talk about live Ozzy. How often did you see Ozzy live?
Not very often.
Okay. Give me some albums that you saw them tour on.
So that would have been like No More Tears.
Was that with Alice in Chains opening?
I don't even remember.
Okay.
That far.
So you saw him on the No More Tears album?
Yeah.
Where did he play in here? Around here?
I think that was, I want to say that was Worcester.
Because that was a big record here.
Yeah. Yeah, you're reaching back now.
Yeah, 91, 92. But before that, did you see Ozzy play? Did you see him with Jake or Brad? I didn't do many shows with Brad.
No, but I saw a Jake show. So, yeah.
Okay. So, Bark at the Moon or Ultimate Sin.
So,
did you see the tour that Metallica opened? Master of Puppets? The Ultimate Sin. Did you see that tour?
No.
You didn't catch that tour?
No.
Okay. So the first time I saw Ozzy was Black Rain. I only ever saw Ozzy once. I can't remember who opened, but it was a good show. And the one thing I will say, you could tell he was singing. Because he sang Bark at the Moon and he was all over the fucking place.
Yeah.
But it was fine. It was, it was fucking Ozzy. That's what you're going to get when at a live show. Does he have help? I think Robert Mason did backing vocals off stage for a while for him. He's going to have, some sort of help, but at least it's him singing.
Yeah.
But there was a show. I told this story before, but I'm going to tell it again. Fuck it. Before I moved here, there was a show booked in, I think it was Punchestown Racecourse, just outside of Dublin, and the Ozfest I think had played in England the day before, and it was either the week before or that day. I remember watching the Osbournes. It was season 1, and the show was in England on the Saturday, and I believe the show, or it was either the Friday or the Saturday, and the show in Punchestown was the day after. And I remember watching the Osbournes, and one of the things that came up in the show was Ozzy doing back-to-back shows, right? And he was shouting at Sharon when he saw the itinerary, saying, "Why are you booking all these back-to-back shows? At this stage, I can't do two nights in a row."
Yeah.
Of course, I get a text from my mates. They're at Punchestown Racecourse. Ozzy's not playing, right? So Ozzy plays in England the day before.
Yeah.
And then he's headlining the next day, and he's not on the bill. And not only was he not on the bill, but Black Label Society were supposed to be on the bill. They didn't fucking play either. So yeah, I think Tool played. Slayer headlined, and I think Tool might have been on the bill, and one or two other bands. But I didn't even travel, and I had a ticket.
Yeah,
I was like, I'm not fucking traveling down in all that traffic. And I love Slayer, but just to see Slayer, and they were given refunds, so I said, fuck it, I want a refund. But so that was the Ozzy shit show that didn't happen.
Yeah, I was trying to think. The reason while you were talking, I was looking at it because I had it laying around over there a couple weeks ago, but the earliest one was down in Cape Cod, and I had my pass laying around somewhere over there. I don't know if I put it away or what, but it's just a plain black Sabbath pass. I don't know where the hell it went. It was sitting over there.
So what do you think his abiding memory will be? Like if someone was to ask you.
It's going to depend on the person.
He's
the guy from the Osbournes, right? You're going to have...
for you now.
Well, for me?
Yeah. If someone was to mention Ozzy Osbourne, what he meant to you, what would you say?
I mean, he's just been kind of... in the background as a performer, like pretty much my entire listening life. Yeah,
because one of my friends said that to me, that, we don't know the guy, we've never met the guy. Sure, I've interviewed musicians that played with him, but he's kind of been all these people have been a constant. And some people might look at us sometimes when a musician dies and say, what the fuck is wrong with you? You don't even know the guy. Like, why are you upset about it? But they don't get it. It's not only the music that has moved you, but they've just been there.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It's an emotional attachment that's kind of hard to explain to someone who doesn't understand.
All those Sabbath vinyls. I mean, all the hours I sat there with headphones on, listening to those, looking at the covers, reading the liner notes. From there to going to like playing those songs in cover bands and shit like that. And just from there, just always having that kind of that presence. And there's times where like he drops out for a little bit, between albums, or where he's kind of like out of it or whatever, and pops back with a new project. And it's like, oh, holy shit, look at this. But yeah, it's just been like always there. I mean, the same with, Eddie popped in, 78. And had been a constant all the way through there as well. That was a big influence, and a lot of memories tied into VH music too. Yeah, same thing.
Yeah, it's just a lot of emotions. It's this
even Lemmy. Lemmy was another one that was just always like.
Well,
because I can remember
Lemmy didn't affect me the way Neil and Eddie did.
Yeah,
I'm not the. I think that it's how a lot of it is how big a fan you are. Of course, I knew who Lemmy was, and I knew he was iconic.
Yeah,
but you're a way bigger Motorhead fan than I am. Like all these deaths, they're going to happen more regularly. They've happened regularly now for years. All these guys they're well up there now. And I don't know. This one really hit me more than the others, and I don't know why it just did, but I don't know. I'm sure people are out there now saying, "Oh, who's the next one to go?"
It's probably too because he always had this, like, he was always doing something. He was, he just had a new album out, and there's tours planned, and there's, all this stuff, and how many times did he do like 2 versions of No More Tours, and it just always seemed like he's always going to be doing something else, and then you see him do the Back to the Beginning show, and though he looked frail and stuff, you kind of also have that in their mind of like, oh, okay, well, you never know, he might pop up and do something else, where it wasn't kind of more of that, like almost expecting that was going to happen,
I think with Ozzy, a lot of the albums we got, you kind of feel in some ways that it's bonus time. That
I mean,
I
granted,
didn't think
the
he'd be
last
around
one,
this long.
You know, the last one was kind of like,
Well, I didn't buy it.
yeah, it was.
I said that at the time, and I'm still not going to buy it.
Yeah.
I have my period of Ozzy that is dear to me, and it's not Ordinary Man or
Yeah.
you know,
But
the
there's things-
Scream album I like.
There's,
But
there's temptations
that's
on
it.
that too, because you had a Jeff Beck solo on there, and it's like, ooh, okay. And I love Jeff Beck.
yeah, but I always say about the later Ozzy stuff is how much of it is his voice and how much of it is the Pro Tool and auto tune and
I think there's a certain amount of integrity there with it.
yeah. But when you listen to I know his voice changed, but when you listen to some of the earlier stuff, it's way more human than what you heard on the later albums.
Well, different recording techniques and shit too.
You're being nice.
No, that's true though.
Technology.
Because if he couldn't do it, I don't think he would have bothered. I've been like, no, I can't do it.
I don't know about that. I think he was just born. It was something that he was born with that I just want to do it. It was like the final show.
Yeah.
That it was like, I'm not going out with a cancelled tour and not coming back.
Yeah.
I'll do everything within my power just to get up on stage
Yeah.
one last time and do it.
Yeah, I think hell of a career. Like I said, everything that's related to it is like going up. It's like it's nuts. I've just got like that giant stack of 80s processors there. Like that bottom unit plus part of one of the units in the main rack over here is actually like the secret to Zach's tone. That's his secret recipe. I just happen to have both pieces of gear.
Okay.
And now that one people know about, and that's already climbing. But it's kind of like Zach's still out playing. Like a lot of people don't know about this other one.
Okay.
But as soon as they do, that'll climb too. All because it was like, well, he used it with Ozzy. It's crazy. Just like watching the albums go up, watching the CDs go up. It's like, holy crap.
What's your favorite Ozzy album?
Actually, I do like Blizzard.
It's overplayed though.
It is.
Not all of it, but
I liked it because they hit their stride. That band hit their stride on that album. You know, the first one, they were still trying to get used to that studio and kind of getting their legs together and all of that. And by the time they get to Diary, like, yeah, they're really clicking, you know, and they kind of like, you see everyone working together. They're used to that studio, and I think it comes together pretty damn well. And I like that. I like Ultimate Sin. That to me was like almost like the top of Jake's playing on that. And so that one's great too. And No More Tears.
I think Diary of a Madman, the song itself, I don't think there's a song like it in the rest of his catalogue. I think it's an absolutely amazing piece of music.
Yeah, well, I think there too you got Randy, Randy was like Ozzy's Cliff, you know what I mean? Cliff had all this huge kind of musical knowledge or taste and stuff, and he would draw through all kinds of shit, right? And I think that's kind of what Randy did too, is it was like, oh, well, I know about this classical thing here or this little flamenco thing here, and like he just kind of drew all these things in, and Ozzy was like, shit, why not? Let's do it. And you had a great rhythm section behind it that knew how to like not play over it and just kind of stick behind it. So yeah, I think an album, just like I said, that's part of why I like it, is you just see everything come together on that album.
Gus G posted something that Ozzy wanted to do for one of the tours on the Scream album, and so there was a set list written. And I had 4 or 5 songs from Blizzard and Diary, and then a smattering of hits to finish the show.
Yeah.
So the band worked it all up, and then Ozzy came in and scrapped it all. But I was looking at the list, And I'm thinking, fucking hell, because what Ozzy normally did was he either did Believer or he did Flying High Again off Diary.
Yeah.
But he didn't do anything else on that album after, I believe, after that tour.
Yeah.
And he would have done Sato or Little Dolls or Tonight. And I'm like, fucking hell. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Can you imagine going to an Ozzy show when the Screen came out, 2011 or 12 or something? And the first 10 songs are off Blizzard and Diary. Oh, I'm like, fucking hell.
Yeah.
Like, incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible.
I think that was the other thing, too, is, like, with Blizzard, too, you had it to a little bit of a degree, but then when you get to Diary, there's like a substance behind the song. Like, they all have some little story behind them, And so I think that lends to the whole overall way of recording it, because there's something in your head about, like, okay, this song means this, as opposed to just like, someone came up with a riff and someone came up with some cool lyrics and let's just go. So there's a lot of that with Blizzard too.
So what's your favorite Sabbath album with Ozzy? Or is that too hard a question?
Yeah.
I got one. Mine's Sabotage.
A lot of people say Sabotage as well.
But the popular opinion out there is, it's Paranoid.
No, it's not.
No, but that's the one that always gets pushed.
I don't disagree.
It has War Pigs and Paranoid and Iron Man.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that at all. Because most people are going to say either the debut or they're going to say Paranoid. They're not going. They definitely won't say Volume 4. That's like their jazz excursion.
Master of Reality doesn't get as much
Master
love as it should.
Is a great
Tremendous
album, and so's Sabbath Bloody Sabbath.
Yeah, that's a great album
as well. So and those two just kind of get short shrift all the time. Some of the other ones, again, Technical Ecstasy, they're kind of losing their way a little bit with some things, but that's also kind of one of the ones that Ozzy was able to make some other little contributions to as well that he normally didn't. There's even, and I know it gets pretty maligned, there's even a couple of good tracks on Never Say Die.
I put a post up a couple of weeks ago, Never Say Die. I said that is widely regarded as the worst Ozzy Sabbath album. And it is. Of the first 8.
Sure.
If you asked 100 people to rank the albums from 1 to 8, it would either Technical Ecstasy or Never Say Die would be 7 and 8 on 95 of the 100.
Yeah.
And of course, some people, fucking hell, it's fucking amazing. How dare you? And I'm like, it is widely regarded.
Yeah.
It is. And I know Metallica did Johnny Blade.
Yeah.
And so I think another 1 or 2 songs were done at the show from that record.
Yeah, I think that the whole idea though too that there's really no real hits off of Never Say Die. Title track got a little airplay, but that's about it. You had a few others from Technical Ecstasy, but I can see why people that maybe aren't like really deep catalog people are just going to go to like Paranoid is the masterpiece. You know what I mean?
The thing with Paranoid, another song that if I never heard again for the rest of my life, I wouldn't miss. I don't think it's a single because it's 3 minutes long or just under 3 minutes long. But I never thought it was a great song.
Yeah.
I always thought that with Black Sabbath, they had fucking way better songs than that. Mm-hmm. I know it comes up in it's essential Sabbath track, but War Pigs is amazing, right? Even Iron Man is pretty, repetitive.
Yeah.
Ahead of its time when it came out, you want to go there? Sure.
Yeah.
But Hand of Doom to me is on Paranoid's a better track than Iron Man.
Yeah.
There's more involved in that or Fairies Wear Boots.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. Crazy Train's a great song, but I Don't Know is a better song to me. Revelation Mother Earth is better than Crazy Train. Mm-hmm. There's better written songs.
Yeah.
Again, Mama and Coming Home's a great song, right? I think Mr. Trinker Train's a fucking fantastic song. Or the title track.
Yeah.
I think the title track is the essential song to listen to on that record, not the ballad.
Yeah.
But that's just me. But you didn't answer the question. What's your favorite Sabbath album?
Yeah, I don't really have one, to be honest.
Depends on mood you're in.
Yeah, pretty much. Because there's times where I'll go back and put on, like I said, put on 4 and then be like, this is actually pretty good. And then like I could listen to it 2 days later and go, what the fuck was I thinking? Like, what were they thinking when they did this? Well, I know what they were thinking. They were out of their fucking minds.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it varies. I think that just kind of, I think that says a lot about the catalog too.
True. How strong it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've already seen it. It's all having an uptick.
Yeah.
In sales. It always happens when somebody dies.
Yeah. Yeah, and pretty much, I've been like buying them right along too, so they're all just kind of like baked in there,
Yeah, I bought the some of the box sets are great. I have the Paranoid one, and I don't have the Volume 4 one. I got Technical Ecstasy and Sabotage, and they're all really well done.
Yeah, I've got a bunch of them up there.
Yeah, they're fantastic.
Yeah,
but we could talk about Ozzy all night, but sad day, sad time for a lot of folks out there.
Yeah, it's going to keep happening. Unfortunately, that's just how it is.
I remember saying years ago that I used to be a subscriber to Classic Rock magazine, and the first couple of pages in Classic Rock magazine used to be the Classic Rock news.
Yeah.
Now, when you buy it, there's always 2 pages of deaths.
Yeah, that's how it was when I was getting vintage guitar as well.
Yeah,
as it would just be like
obituaries.
Yeah, you're like, holy crap.
Yeah. It's like, here's a little bit of news, and all these guys died.
Yeah, and it just keeps. It's just going to keep happening, and that's just how it is.
Yeah. So, a bit more of this one, but anyway.
Yeah, no, I mean,
got to talk about it.
It was going to happen at some point. I honestly, for a while, I thought it was going to be Tony. Yeah,
with the cancer. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, especially after, Ronnie, and which was another big one as well. So yeah, it's just going to keep happening.
Next time we talk, happy.
All right. Well, we're way behind everybody else in doing our Ozzy show, but I think it had to be done out of respect for the guy, and like you mentioned, we've talked to so many of his sidemen over the years as well.
All loved him,
and all loved him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's it.
All right.
We're done.
That is it for this week. Stick a fork in it. This puppy is done. So for myself and
Richie, have
yourselves a great middle week. And until we talk to you again, as always, remember,
focus on metal. Everything else is insignificant.
You're still here? It's over. Go home.